for the black people, for the black people, for the black people. What's in it for the black people? You know it. What's in it for the black people? Let's show it. What's in it for the black people? You know it. What's in it for the black people? Let's show it. For the black people, 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 for the black people.
WIIFTBPM. WIFTV.
Live from your studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. Book of with Dawn Millhouse.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lisa E.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
Good morning. Guess what, y'all? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's a good one for my thing. Is it Wednesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday?
Right.
But, I ain't even going to put y'all on front like that. It's National Candy Day. We have a Jolly Rancher Sucker. We got Starburst. We got Jolly Ranchers. Oh, that's a good one.
Jolly Ranchers are wine candy.
Yeah, I'm adding that to the
That's
list.
a good one to add.
That's very Chicago. And Twizzlers, even though I like Twizzlers and Red Vines, but my husband says,
I prefer Twizzlers.
my husband says, I go get Red Vines because they're fat-free and sugar-free. And he goes, we're a Twizzler family. Like, is that a thing? But we are a Twizzler
So
family.
do you call it wine candy or Jolly Ranchers?
I call them Jolly Ranchers.
See, I'm a Jolly Rancher girl, too.
But, when I was little and I was trying to assimilate to the neighborhood in my Celine voice, I used to say wine candy and not wine. It's not wine candy, it's wine candy. There's
Speaking of whining, we won't talk about certain people still whining about every vote, but that's why I got my blue on
Yeah, we're
today.
not going to talk about him at all.
I'm trying to push some blue. That's why let's wear a little blue today, shall we?
Yeah, we're going to leave that to Maze and all the other people that actually don't curse on air.
But we can sing the blues.
Good morning. It's Wednesday. It's Who's That Girl? It's Who's That Girl Wednesday. I crush on girls that are really making a difference in the lives of our community and their children and other people, kids and village mamas, and my sister friends. And today we have Lisa Foster and Deborah Farmer. Yay. Yeah. So we will be chatting with them. We do want to say happy birthday to Trey the Chocolate Jock.
Trey the Chocolate Jock, yeah.
Puff Daddy.
He did
Puffy's, Sean Combs. Sakina Hull, which is Rodney Hull's little sister. Princess Hempfield's birthday is today.
Happy birthday.
And Dr. Sean Kyle Gary, who has her own show now. I owe her a show. She asked me to be on her show like 6 months ago. I said yes. That was before I had my own, and I had to pull out, and I felt terrible. So I owe her big time. And today, did you see the weather report? Jeez, it's going to be in the high 70s for the rest of the week. Disclaimer, no thought flops, y'all. No thought flops and no leggings I can see through. I don't care what the weather is. It's never appropriate to wear that. Just have to put that out there. So today's word is going to blow your mind. I never knew. As I was doing my word research, understand what you read. Word comes up called eggcorn. Do you know what that means?
Egg corn?
Egg, EGGCORN.
Like a plant or something?
Yeah.
Nope. Got any suggestions? Any guesses, Lisa?
Egg corn. Put it in a sentence, please.
I'm dead. She took me out already. It's a word or phrase that results from a misinterpretation or mishearing of another word, with the original being substituted for one that sounds very similar or identical. I'll give you an example, because we all do it.
Yeah.
I got a lot of them, too. I'm about to blaze y'all this morning. It's like saying all intents and purposes, but it's supposed to be all intensive purposes. But we changed it. All intents and purposes ain't what it was originally. That's an eggcorn. I'll give you
So eggcorns is basically some black people stuff.
both y'all. Wait.
Ron said that. I'm not.
What you call it is the eggcorn then, right? Because it's actually what you
did you
may
call
it
it?
or
Yeah,
what you
what
may
did-
call it. When
yeah.
we say what you call it or
Yeah,
what you call
that's
it.
egg corn.
So what about like when people say, "Are you supposed to do that?"
No, that's just bad grammar.
Oh, because I mean, because I have a lot of friends that do that. My dad would say that a lot.
That's
too,
like saying pacifically instead
Yeah.
of that's just bad
Yeah,
grammar.
okay.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
And baby, get me started. I'm going.
Okay.
It's like saying bonfire instead of bonfire. It's like saying, "Oh, this is a good one." It's like saying black. You know how in black speak we say chest of drawers. It really is a chest of drawers. Of drawers, a chest with drawers, not chest of drawers. Not to be confused with big drawers. Right here, this kid. Doggy dog world. Not the Snoop Dogg version. It's supposed to be
Dog
eat
dog.
Now, would this qualify or would this be just bad, like rechanging grammar? So when people say, sorry for your lost instead of a loss.
That's bad grammar.
That's
and
just
it
bad
actually irritates my soul.
Okay.
I have to keep. It's hard
When
for me
people
to hit,
do that, I
it's
want to
hard
do it on Facebook. When people say that and they're like, "I'm so sorry for your lost," and I'm like, "It's not a loss. It's
even
a
though
loss."
it's past. That one makes me. It's hard for me
Yeah.
to click the hug button when I see that
Right,
because
right,
I want to
right.
correct the grammar.
Me
Because
too.
silently, I'm correcting your grammar while you're talking.
And I
Like,
correct if I look at myself and I post this, I will correct myself in front of everybody.
Here's one. Frustrated.
Oh, instead of okay,
Yeah, I'm frustrated. What are you? Fluttered or
Flu-
straighted?
flustered or
And here's my last example before we
Wow.
take a break and secure the bag and bring back Lisa Foster. People say what? Espresso. Can I have an espresso?
and is it espresso?
Espresso.
And
Yes.
see, I don't even drink coffee.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Egg corn.
I get you an espresso with lemon. I make it myself.
Why don't you guys look? Put it if you know any egg corns, put them in the thread. Oh, that was the other one. You know how people say buck naked? She buck naked. Ain't no buck. It's butt. Ain't that something?
Not like Bernie bucket naked.
That's he's an egg corner. He's not a candy corn, an egg corn. The Book of Dawn, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. What's in it for the Black People Media? We a little tired. They was in here all night with the election results live.
Man.
Yeah, I watched
still-
it.
yeah.
I watched it and listened to it and was in the madness last night. Hey,
They did a great job.
go Big Blue. Come on, Joe Biden. We're waiting on you.
Blue.
We'll be right back.
WIFTV-PM.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays, starting November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
WIFTV-PM.
Live from your studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. Book of Dawn. With Dawn Millhouse.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to the Book of Dawn right here from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios.
Irregardless.
Hey, did I? Yeah, irregardless. Baby, the hair on my back just stood up. Because if another motherfucker could say irregardless to me, my whole brain, I'm just like, I can't even help myself. It's really not my monkey, or not my circus.
What is it?
But
And regardless?
when people say irregardless, that is not a word. When you say IRR before regardless, you just knock the regardless off. So that means you care. Like, that's not a word. Okay, don't get me started. Y'all know we've been talking about school and language all day. And I literally, when people talk, I literally correct their grammar when they're talking to me. And you know how you're looking and you're just like, they said that wrong. Worst part is when they think they smart than a mug. Okay, you're not smart when you say things, you just make up stuff and smush it together and try to slide it in. You're not smart. Mike Tyson, he's smart. I'm just saying they sound like Mike when they do that. I shouldn't say that because he might be watching, and I'm gonna call him. Anyway, you see this beautiful face? Yes. You see this? This is Lisa Foster.
What a beautiful name.
Chicago-born, super mom, Wonder Woman, Woman Crush Wednesday, and somebody that I think that you should know. Of course, I know her, but I think you should know her. Lisa is in real estate. She's a senior real estate consultant. She does new development, residential, and commercial development. She has led teams on projects that have generated over $30 million in sales. She is Chicago Association of Realtors top producer for many years, certified residential appraiser, graduate of the Realtor Institute, and a certified luxury home marketing expert, which means I probably should be. I want a new house.
I love your house.
I know, but I just want a new one.
No, you don't.
This Southsider, listen, I thought there was 7 people inside of me, but this one is the one that I will put my money on in a dark alley on any day. She coming. I'm talking about camouflage ready. I shouldn't tell y'all that part. Lisa Foster, welcome to the Book of Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Lisa. It's a pleasure to meet everyone.
I am so glad you're here. Lisa, tell me how you went to school at the University of Illinois and got an agricultural engineering degree, because that's hard. That's Mr. Millhouse type of stuff. That's why y'all get along so well. ILL, let me say it, because I know you want to say the I and I part, right? Yeah, because no, that's like
I am not that
something
much.
like a cult. Something like a cult.
Yeah, I have my own thing for Champagne Urbana.
Okay, what is it?
Shampoo Banana.
That's like an acorn. But you recently got your master's in sustainable urban development from DePaul, development and planning. Mm-hmm. And so what I want to start with first is, because I know your heart for the community, is the reason that with a son who is a junior now, is he a junior?
Junior.
At Morehouse University, who is also in engineering. So
Yep.
you just,
Software engineering,
it's just,
yep.
It's just, branch don't fall far from the tree.
We just love a good formula.
And me too. Champagne in a glass.
One strawberry.
Right, please. How is your degree, is your master's part of your commitment to community? And what will you do now that you have gone back, when most people feel like, okay, I'm done. My son's almost graduated from college and he's doing well. You take the initiative to get up and go back to school. What made you do that?
Well, thank you again so much for having me. And that's a great beginning. Like, why would you go back? And it's not easy, right? So, we get caught up into our adulting, and we kind of have our set thing in our day-to-day. And I said, I'm just not quite fulfilled. How can I make sure that I am adding value to the community, and I'm qualifying myself and making sure that when these projects come down the pike, what do they need to do to make sure that I'm qualified and they understand that I only have the experience, I also have the background in education. So with that being said, that degree has really opened my eyes, and it's kind of a blend between my bachelor's and my experience in real estate, because I did a lot of architectural projects in that master's program. I met with a lot of community leaders and other developers, and just understanding, it's not just we're just going to plop this building here, right? Mm-hmm. So it's truly a science about it, and it's a science of humans and how they live and how they maximize a space. So, it's understanding, how a building will add or subtract from the footprint of a specific community. So with that degree, I learned. I've got some great connections. I learned a lot about the process, and I'm absolutely ready to use it into the community. And I've been working with people too, so it's nice to be able to actually put it into practice.
I like that you said, we get comfortable in our. Okay, my baby's almost out of college, and your son has a full scholarship, right?
Correct.
And so that is not a worry, as it is for many. But you said you didn't feel fulfilled personally. And I think the hardest part as a woman is often not knowing that gauge, like, and how to act when when you're not fulfilled on the inside. And I am just enamored that you not being fulfilled is connected to something for somebody else, because it's the true science of living in your purpose, right? We're on the earth not to bless ourselves, it's to bless others. And so you taking the cost and the time. Master's programs are not easy. I did it, and they're even harder with a child. And in that arena, it cannot, and now in a pandemic, it can't be easy. And so connecting that to the community speaks volumes for you, which is why you are that girl.
Thank you.
Pardon my ignorance, but I want to ask you, because you mentioned the footprint of a neighborhood. So are you talking about like when it used to be Cabrini Green or the Ickies, like that urban planning versus taking those housing projects out of a community and putting new affordable housing? Are those the footprints that you're talking about?
Yeah, so it's a portion of that. It's a portion of understanding how people live, transportation, hospitals. What facilities can you get to these people in the close proximity? And make sure that you're being lead forward. You're developing with the environment in mind also. So a lot of these TOD projects or transit-oriented development projects are based around just that, transit and housing. And how do we get people to drive less? So that's when we're talking about the footprint. We're talking about the carbon footprint. We're talking about how they're adding to the community and not taking away from the space. So with the projects, well, we didn't study that as much, but although it was a very, very important component to understanding how we got here, right? Mm-hmm. We got to understand our history, and I just remember it as the low end,
right? Facts.
The Ickies had good parties,
right? The booth house.
But it was a real project was just that. It was an actual project, and understanding the psyche around that and why people put those places there, and understanding. And I think it was really important and eye-opening for my other counterparts in class. They didn't really understand. They just thought that people just wanted to live on top of each other.
Yeah.
And didn't quite understand the psyche about that, and how Black people got here to Chicago and why we were confined to a specific space. So
even more so that Cabrini I can speak about, because I was born at 1015, was not for Black people.
Nope.
At first.
Nope.
Like, it became that. But that is some very interesting history of the city. And now that I live a stone's throw and see it now in what it is in the newness, it's even crazier, right? Because it's what it was originally designed for.
Yeah. And it was almost like, was it a placeholder?
Yeah. Exactly.
Were you starving these people of services and money and funding,
or a small genocide?
Yes. You can help get rid of them, and then you just demolish it because it wasn't serving much purpose anyway, right?
Right.
And then you put these luxurious places there. So why didn't you just fix it up
in the first place? Right. That part. Now, will your urban planning masters help in neighborhoods like Inglewood and some of the other underserved areas? Is that part of that that goal of that
Absolutely,
degree?
absolutely. So it's all of it, right? It's bringing education and economic development, and helping with some programs like the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund program, and helping people to take advantage of that to help some of the community business corridors to bring them life, right? So it's just not enough just to slap a house up. How far is the grocery store from me? How far do I got to go to the pharmacy? And making these places walkable.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very important to me, because this way we can kind of act in our own micro cities, right? And then become part of the larger city. And then it really just helps us all be better, and
Especially
bring
during
more taxes.
Yeah, especially during times like these when people can't get around and they can only walk to the corner, and with the pandemics.
Sure.
And so
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. So
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a whole thing about it. I was like, there's a thing?
Right. That is the thing. Stay with us. Tell your friends. We're talking about like real business today. I almost
Yeah.
feel like Mr. Millhouse is here again.
Right.
Stay with us. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN. What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
WIFTBP.
Live from your media studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. Book of Dawn. Book of Dawn. Book of with Dawn Millhouse.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn on What's in It for the Black People Media. Maze Jackson Facebook page, Maze Jackson on YouTube. Make certain that you follow, share it with a friend. 12 hours of, yesterday, a whole day of programming. And actually that's the goal. I overheard a conversation. That's the goal, all day. But for now, 12 hours every day.
Right, and then the hours that we're not on, just binge watch the shows that you missed.
Yeah, because they're always downloadable. That part.
Exactamundo.
We are joined by Lisa Foster, who is a certified residential appraiser. You also are a top producer in sales. Can you tell me a little bit about just the real estate? Let's start with why you got into real estate. And then let's move to how has it changed in a pandemic?
Okay. So when I graduated U of I worked for Accenture for like 6-7 years, and I became a programmer. I was like, oh my God, we're the humans. And then I became a project manager, and I was doing all this amazing stuff that I can go on and on about, and I was so not happy. I made a lot of money, worked from home, and all this stuff. And I remember there's one day, I tell everyone there's the baseball story. And I had missed like my son's whole season. Because when you work from home, you usually work more.
Yeah,
right?
true.
And this is a time when it wasn't, as popular. So working from home, I missed the whole baseball season. And he said, can you make this one? I was like, oh.
Heartbreak.
So, yeah, total heartbreak. So my manager, this and that, I quit. It just not even in my character to quit something. Like, it would just be knots in my stomach. So in between that, I was investing in real estate. I had about 60 doors, and I was doing really well. And I was like, you know what? If I can match my salary and it can get me to the baseball game, I'm doing it. And so that was like, I don't know, '05, '06 or something like that. And like I've never worked in corporate again. So I'm grateful and blessed to have been able to sustain myself through the first recession, '08.
Yeah.
And now through a pandemic, which is not a recession. In real estate, I'll say, at this snapshot in time. So I will say, how is this different from '08? That's usually a good comparison. And people are very worried about short sales and foreclosures, and albeit that is likely a reality. I don't believe that we will have the amount of distressed sales that we had back then, because at that time, that was an equity issue. Lisa, you want to buy 4 or 5 houses. We'll give you the keys. We'll give you $20,000 at the closing of each table. You don't got to put any money down. No skin in the game. And you're going to be at the very, very top of the market. Well, you don't care. You're getting $20,000, right, for each property. Yeah. So, then the market tanked, right? And so now you're here with these properties that are overvalued. They were outvalued from the get-go. And then when they took a blip, it's even more overvalued. So I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to leave the property. So, and then people didn't really know how to do short sales or foreclosures, and then there was just so much of them. So I believe that it's different in that instances that people do put money down now. They are vested. They're much more educated, which is like so refreshing. People thought that the internet would kill our business. I'm just like, no, just look it up.
Right.
And they come in, ready to have an engaging conversation about the market. And so what I have learned since March, or what I've been experiencing since March, is that people are ready to go. Like, these interest rates are super low. The lowest I've seen is 2.7.
Wow.
But it hovers around 3, which is really, really, really cheap money. I know when my mom bought a place in the 80s, it was like 18%.
My gosh.
It was $30,000.
Yeah, but still.
So I'm just like, these, even with the elections, right? That's a whole other thing that might be. So I'll say this. I anticipate the interest rates to be low for a couple of years. And with that being said, renters will come into the market. So right now you can for every $100,000, you can get a property for about $450 in mortgage.
Okay. Oh, wow.
About, give or take.
I'm writing a check right now.
There you go. So if you're paying $900 in rent, you can probably afford a $200,000 home.
Say that part again, because I think that the fear for many, even those who, I'm completely transparent, who have had Section 8 or housing assistance or whatever word you want to call it, whatever county or city you live in, I think that that's important to hear. I think the fear of a house means you'll have to downsize, or you have to live, But if you say it as clearly as you said it, a $250,000 house is not necessarily a small house. It depends on where you purchase it, right?
Absolutely. You can get some good house for $250,000. So to repeat, for every $100,000, you pay about $450 in mortgage. Like, that's super cheap.
Yeah.
So there was a rental bubble. I don't know if people saw it, but they were putting these huge, beautiful buildings up. I call them Vegas style. They got the pool. They're empty. They're high. And now we're in a pandemic when people have either gone back home to mom and dad, or you're not coming into the office as much. The vacancies are even higher. So I feel like there's a rental bubble. It's not as detrimental as a housing bubble, but it's difficult for the investor. And those people are going into purchases.
Mr. Millhouse and I had a conversation about this, and he talked about that bubble from the perspective of a business and all of the businesses that have the huge offices that accommodate hundreds of people, and how that might change because the way we work is going to change. Would you concur with that, or?
Absolutely. Commercial office space was in trouble for a bit. If you're not if you haven't got a cool pool table downstairs, a nursery space, like kind of an all-in-one space. So we call it in urban planning, it's a livable city. It's a city within the building, right?
Kind of like Google.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I want to be in the Google building. I want to be in a drab. I want something cool on my walls. So if you weren't doing that, you were losing clients anyways.
Yeah.
So that combined with this, it's like, one thing this pandemic has taught us, I hope it has taught people to pivot. To
Good
pivot
word.
and to stay nimble. I believe in doubling down, but I also, what's another exit strategy? In the event that I need to kind of liquidate or go this way, how do I get ready for that? So that's just some things I have learned during this time.
Would you say that your journey to real estate is, I know a little bit about it. My sister Lisa, the other Lisa, is in real estate. She's a broker, but there's school. Can you tell somebody that may not know or may be intimidated by the process how they would get into real estate, do the school, be licensed, or that process?
Sure. So I call that retail real estate, right? So I help buyers and sellers come together and do a deal and sell. So yeah, you can absolutely go to real estate school. It's literally what it's called. I think it's 45 hours now. I'm not sure. And then you take a test with the state. You get certified by IDFPR, and you hang your license with a brokerage, and you're open for business, right?
Okay.
It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part.
The part that you don't learn in there is just like the grit, the grind, the day to day, the language. You said one thing, but what I'm hearing is, and that's just over time that I get to learn that. So, what my clients get with me is they get 20 years of experience and 20 years of bumps and bruises. Like, don't buy that.
Right. Let me be clear.
Here's how we want to configure this property, to make sure that you're maximizing on value. So, I'm not a very good salesperson. Like, I'm not like, I can't like sell you ice to a way. I don't do that. I give you information, and I do the research for you, and I help you make an educated decision.
But it's also, I believe, in your field, it's about personality. It's about the way you deliver because that can make or break somebody. When you keep it real and when you have that personality and you know how to deliver what you're trying to say in the way you're delivering, people are going to want to come to you.
Totally.
Because I definitely, the way you even talk now, and
you want to buy some?
Well, my friend, my friend Barbie just lost her dream house. She went into foreclosure.
You go get
Barbie, Barbie's dream house. Never mind. Okay. Sorry, I was gonna crack a joke. But like even listening to you now, and I when people realize it and feed off people's energy and spirit, I'm very big with that. I'm very big on just moral customer service towards each other as humans. And I think in your line of work, that's going to pull people. And even people hearing you now, they're going to be like, oh, I definitely want to do some stuff with her. So,
yeah.
Well, I think,
love that.
I agree, Lisa. I think that it's that you're not a salesperson because you're not doing it for money. Let's be clear, money's good, but your drive is not the money. You're making money and not letting the money make you. And so I think when you go to somebody and they're not just like, like at a store, and I don't care if you walk in there with a black card and you can afford everything. If it looks terrible on you, don't let that person buy it. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you remember the movie Miracle on 34th Street when Santa Claus was saying, you know what, this is a great deal, but down the street over at Kimball's, they have a better deal. And then everybody wanted to come because they're like, Santa Claus is giving us the thing. And their numbers went up. Yeah.
Santa Claus is a buck.
Yeah. Right. If you want to be trusted, tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell like a T.I. is.
Tell
Thank you, Bernie
like
Mac.
T.I. is, yes.
So, Lisa, take me from real estate license to your level. Some people just sell real estate. Some people become brokers. Some people become appraisers. Is the foundation of that the real estate license, and how do you grow in your industry?
Sure. So I became an appraiser first, if I remember correctly, but I got my real estate license shortly after. So I'm really, really good at knowing value. That's probably why I'm okay. I'm really, really good at knowing value because I understand, okay, if you this here, and I know how to research that part, right? So I think that's how I grew really fast. And then I do investments also. I do renovations. So I'm versed, but I'm so versed well in real estate. So if you want to be, I believe, a top flight salesperson, you have to build your client base, right? They got to know you're in business. You have to build that trust, and then you just got to get in the trenches. And then you just really have to drill down and know what you're delivering and what you're selling to people. And it really just comes over time because, people don't buy a house every day. Mm-hmm. I tell my clients that all the time, you're probably going to do this once. And I do this 3 or 4 times a week. So if I'm nonchalant that day, you back me up. Sure. You say, hold on, slow that down, run that back. What'd you just say? So I don't take that for granted. I don't care if it's $100,000 sales or $2 million sales. You are getting me 1,000% every day. And so I think if people understand that it's a privilege because they can go to anybody.
Sure.
A bunch of people buy real estate, sell real estate. But why are you choosing me? You're choosing me because of the value that I bring and the knowledge that I bring. And so it just takes that time. So I think that, the novice agent, I mentor so many people, which is really, really nice. I should have had their names ready to shout them out. But I mentor them, and they're like, gosh, you're so free giving with this information. I'm like, yeah, because your clients aren't my clients.
Yeah.
Like, people who roll with me, they are diehard and loyal. So it just takes time. Mm-hmm. It just takes persistence, building relationships with other agents, other real estate professionals, and then just kind of building your network. And you become the worth of knowledge. You become the go-to person.
Lisa and I had this conversation last week, and I was saying, information is, you have it to share it. And although there's some shady folks that take the pass you give them and basically turn their back on you, you can't let that one change because collectively we're created to be a collective, not like little islands. And there are bad seeds in every industry, mm-hmm. but the fact that you're willing to continue to share, that's part of the bruising that you spoke about. You're still willing to share because at the end of the day, what God has for you, He has for you at the end of the day. And, of course you have to learn some lessons.
Sure.
But do you ever struggle? You mentioned the baseball game. I was a single mom as well. And I remember being raised by a single mom and was troubled that my mom was working and wasn't the mom at all the games. And so I made sure that to the point of, taking out student loans and going back to school and getting a master's or waiting tables so that I could make sure I fitted in the hours so that I could do the after. Now that your son is in college, how are you balancing, I guess we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, I want you to talk about the balance of being such an established professional and still mommying a son. He's an adult, but he's still a baby.
Poopy.
Yes. Hey, Dimitri. And he better be watching. You are listening to the Book of Dawn on What's in It for the Black People Media. Today is Wednesday. So Frankie Beverly is coming up at 11. His name is really Salim. But
he's smooth.
Journey into Muwa Kills World. But you got to stay here in order to journey into him. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays, starting November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
WIFTV.
Live from your studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. Book of Dawn with Dawn Millhouse.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn on What's in It for the Black People Media. We put a marker in a question, but I want to address one of the comments in the feed. The question posed was, is the banking industry friendly to Black people?
I will address that from a retail perspective.
Okay.
Retail buyer and seller perspective.
Okay.
When a client comes to me pre-approved already, because you have your choice of lenders, I do have people that I prefer to work with. There are certain banks. Are we friends and family? Can I speak?
Oh, you better.
So there are certain lenders that are not. They do not like to lend in our neighborhoods.
Okay.
They are the big banks.
Okay.
So Chase, Bank of America. They're not all bad, but those two in particular, I'm just like, are you sure you want to go with this person? And it just recently, I had a really, really easy deal, and Chase was like,
other than the obvious, why? I mean, is there any other than the obvious in that? I just trying to throw them.
I really can't. You know what? And it's even I've done deals on the north side where this dude was putting down 40%, and I'm like, they still gave him a hard time. And I walked him right on over to a local lender, and we got him done within 2 weeks. So it's like to me it's so blatant, and it just really boils my blood. If that's something that really works me over, that is the lending practices that are done by certain banks, in my experience, are truly unfair for any other reasons other than they don't like the zip code.
Wow. Wow. And so let's take that question a little bit further. Is it more difficult, say, if I decided I wanted to buy a home in a neighborhood, an underserved neighborhood? Is that
It shouldn't be.
But with some of the, let's see, prejudice or disparity in the lending, would that be a thing versus me buying on the Gold Coast? Would they be more inclined to loan me to buy there versus that 60621?
They shouldn't.
Okay.
Right. So the lenders that I deal with, and the people that I have relationships with, I have deep relationships with them. So Elisa, if you are my lender and Dawn, you are my attorney, we go together.
Okay.
And I'm going to feed you business, and you're going to make sure that my clients are getting good service because you want to keep that pipeline going.
Right.
Right. So with that being said, all lenders are looking for the same thing. What is this person debt to income ratio? What is this property appraised at? And this person's credit score. And then to me, it's really just the marriage. It shouldn't matter where it is. Right. And that's also goes into some of the appraisals. Some of the appraisals are not from our community, and they
guess
come in with shady values.
I don't under even stand. I said that all wrong, but that's acorn probably, or some just bad grammar, or trying to talk too fast because it irritated my spirit. Because you coming into a neighborhood that you know nothing about, and so it goes back to your understanding of the footprint and the people and what's there and what's not there. And, there's no grocery store, there's no library or whatever it is. Like, I just that part just turns me.
How do you get it? Like, if we're trying, if we're not willing to lend, and that it takes. How do we get it?
Right.
We this is a basis for economic growth. This is a basis for stability. How do we attain it if no one gives? And that's part of the reason why they don't want to give it, because they know that. But I call them out. I have no problem with calling them out. Like, I'm a pretty even keel person all the time. Like, I'm this person all the time. Except when you get a very nasty email. Right. I'm putting it in writing, and I know it's in writing.
Paper trailing.
Feel free to forward it up.
Right. Right. Here, I'll send it for you.
You're right.
Lisa, in the break, you mentioned something that you wanted to share. Please do.
Sure. So I wanted to make sure before I cut out that we talk about, if you're thinking about buying, what can you do, right? If they're telling you, like, these rates are going to be this low for a while, maybe you just redid your lease or whatever you're thinking about, maybe I should go out and purchase. So some things you can do to get yourself ready is to repair your credit, right? Find out where you are, like actually pull it. You can do a free service. Make sure the information on there is correct. Start paying down your credit cards below the 30% level. Get current with your loans, and save your money. So you have a nice down payment, so that way that would eliminate any denials and what have you. So the inventory has been very tight as of late. That's because supply and demand is off, right? Okay. So it's off because we had the pandemic, I believe. We had a rush of new buyers coming in, right? So you got a whole bunch of demand, and then you got people saying, oh, it's a pandemic, I don't want people in my house. Totally valid. So now the buyers have much less to choose from. Gotcha. So now you have multiple offers, and it is greasy out there. But we're in it. So if you have those things in play, your credit repair, you're paying things down, and you're also saving your money, you makes you a better buyer going forward.
Good. So basically, being more educated. Basically on your own stuff, whether you're going to buy or not. The question was posed, can you highlight some of the banking institutions that are willing to lend?
Sure. I like guaranteed rate a lot. And then we're talking about retail. Okay. Right? So when I say retail, I mean just normal buy and sell. I have deep ties with guaranteed rate, proper rate, which is just a sector of guaranteed rate.
Now, that's a bank or a lending institution. Okay.
These are brokers. Okay. And then Wintrust. Okay. Also, I don't have anyone in particular, but I like credit unions. Okay. I'm a credit union girl. Like, people come and say, hey, come on with it. Like, no problem. So those are some of the local institutions that I use. There are others, but those are my top three.
Okay, and do those transition from retail to commercial?
They can. So when I do my renovation loans, so I have a line of credit, and I do renovation loans through Renovo. Okay, is one of them. Lima One with Mark Buford. I've worked with him before, and Constructive. Okay. Yeah, those are all names I've never heard of. So that's good information. Yeah, they're I won't say the word hard money because it comes off wrong, but they're hard money lenders.
Okay. Which means what?
Well, hard money lenders means that they are not quote unquote a conventional bank. Gotcha. But they still screen you, right? Okay. Yeah. So and so hard money lenders, they may go off of more so what the project is for versus your qualifications.
Oh, gotcha. So they see the end game. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
You got to qualify. Right. My partner and I, we've done several projects together, and we've had longevity in the business. They're like, oh, you guys are great candidates, because even though maybe your debt-to-income ratio may be a little bit higher, or you may not have as much down, you're still a great candidate because you can get this project completed. So that's an example.
Gotcha.
Hard money. They're all different, though. Yeah.
And we should probably at some point put those in the thread to make certain that we can push those out and your information. Before you leave, I want to ask you a question that we've been talking about for, hold on, we're going to take a break and then we'll be right back. I don't see noises.
Here?
I don't know what it is. That next guest. Oh. When she's not. Come here. Come here. And she shouldn't even be on. She's not on the thread.
Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Chicago Famous with Mike Love and Diz.
The destined legend himself, Leon Rogers.
Yeah.
What's going on, Playboy?
Man, listen, honored to be here with radio legends, man. Two brothers I looked up for and patterned my success.
You walked away from your day job and you went straight in the
Man, brother, first time somebody called me to do the gig, they was like, hey, I got my grandmama's 85-year-old birthday party. She's turning 85. She has a brain tumor. I mean, now she's not going to be able to hear because she's in a coma, but she'll be laying in the room, and we just want the good vibes. Well, what is it? $75. We need you to do an hour. I'm there because of the passion I wanted to do the comedy. So I quit. But when you quit that job, and the job I had was decent. My father, every young black man should have a dad or a father figure in his life. Yes. When I say he went off on me.
My son works.
When I told him I quit to do comedy, mamas is always like, well, that's good, baby. You spread your wings. Realizing what God wants you to do.
Right.
My father like, you got to be the dumbest son of a bitch in the world. I can't believe you came from my ball sack. $65,000 a year. Me and your mama combined only make 80. You dumb mother. I mean, going off. Like, me and my pops actually kind of fell out.
You know, old school black fathers, old school mindset. They came up working. They know how hard it is.
Hands knuckles black. Hands look like he worked at the steel mill, like he was dipping them in the lava. So, he pissed. My hair's manicured.
He's super cool and he know kung fu.
I'm clean. I work on computers.
Drives a $5,000 car and wears a $100 suit.
Right.
He like, I'm out here getting lung poisoning from inhaling all these steel mill fumes and touching people's mail. Look at my hands. I can't even pick up a fork and knife. Your mama got to cut my food for me. And you want to quit to do some damn comedy. He hell.
Chicago Famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIFTV.
Live from your media studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. Book of Dawn with Dawn Millhouse.
Welcome back. You are tuned in to the Book of Dawn. Sorry for the distraction. That was my error. I didn't mute our next guest, and so I just learned how to do that. So bear with me, and thank you for listening. Mr. Millhouse said, "Great job, Lisa."
Thank you.
Ron, can you ask him to turn? Okay, Lisa. Right before we let you go, I want you to you mentioned something in your bio that I think bears. It's a great way to. First, let me say this before you leave me. Definitely, we talked off air about you doing something regularly. I think you should.
You put me on blast. Okay.
I think you should. I think that even my own ignorance, I've never purchased a property. I think what you've been able to communicate in this small bit of time is just the value in knowing whether you want to purchase it, whether you're looking to purchase. The value in knowing this information is more than you can pick up a phone and call somebody or even Google. I mean, there's a lot of information online, but you have real experience and real knowledge, and I think what you've shared, more people should hear.
I would be honored,
especially people of color. Like it is what's in it for the Black people. Not that all people can't buy houses, but we know the disparity in
housing should be in the portfolio, right?
Yeah.
It should be part of. It should be an arm within your wealth. It should be part of it. So I will be honored. We will figure it out. But I'm bringing snacks, and I'm going to wear a onesie next time.
I'm bringing snacks, and there's snacks out there. And so that being said, I'd like to wrap up with your perspective on generational wealth.
So I just feel like what I wish that people would understand is that if we all were at a level where we understood the basis of housing and wealth, we would all be better, right? So we would all be able to pay more taxes and to in order to kind of help the bottom line of the community. But generational wealth is very important for us and to share with our children because that is that's how we go on to the next, right? That's how we experience the things that we are craving and want to make sure we share with our families. So generational wealth is very important to the cloth of a community. Like, it's just, and I don't want to say it's about money. It's about access. It's about the freedom and the power to do the other things that money will allow you to do, right? And unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic system. Like, it just is what it is. But it's nice to come from a space where you don't need it, right? I don't have to do crazy things in order to just survive and sustain. So if we can all take care of ourselves, I say if we all take care of our front lawn, then the whole neighborhood will be clean.
True.
If we can all sustain ourselves, and we can all grow each other, then it just becomes exponentially easier, I believe. So it's for our individual purpose, and it's for the betterment of each of us combined. So
super dope. You started the interview or the conversation with talking about adding value, and you certainly have added value to this little brain of acorns, but to the show and to the viewers, and I hope that in my forgetfulness of muting that some of the information that you gave wasn't lost, but that just means you have to come back in your onesie with snacks. Look, and we could do a onesie.
Yes, we can do our onesie.
I'm all for the overnight.
I know.
Slumber party.
I've got a holiday onesie, I'm just saying.
Oh, and I have my Grinch from last Christmas. So cute. I was the Grinch last Christmas. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had onesie brunch, and I was the Grinch.
So this was awesome.
I am so grateful that you came.
That public speaking is like, I would rather learn how to move the Sears Tower over 2 inches.
That's another one, Willis or Sears Tower.
Facts. No, that's the age. That's an age thing.
Yeah.
So it's very comfortable here. I feel like I'm in your living room, and we're just sitting here chilling. I'm just waiting for Winston to come over.
He was here last night.
Yeah.
Much to Maze's chagrin. He was like, get that little, that's not a real dog. He can't live outside. Whole nother conversation. But, and how was your baby, your fur baby? Because y'all, I got to tell you. No, I can't tell you that story on air.
Please don't.
Okay, never mind.
You know he got acid reflux.
Wait, when I saw that, I was so darn tickled. I was like, these dogs are real people.
Girl, he gonna have gout and glaucoma in a minute. Like,
look, he gonna get the gout. He been over there drinking. Yeah, he been drinking. Oscar. His name is
Oscar.
My dog.
Yeah.
He's a Chihuahua and terrier mixed.
Yeah. And he literally has acid reflux. Who knew? I can't. Listen, this is that girl, Lisa Foster, my friend, and clearly somebody that you need to know. When you rewatch the link, just add those names and those banks in the comments and your name. Well, I can put your name in there because myself. And again, thank you for coming, Lisa. She is with At Properties. Y'all hit her up. She does renovations and clearly knows the right direction for lending. Yes. Lisa Foster, Woman Crush Wednesday. She's that girl.
And she's got a beautiful name. It's all about the Lisa. It's a Lisa thing. People wouldn't understand.
Good spirited, even keeled. Yeah.
But wait till you meet Fiji Lisa. The Book of Dawn. Okay, what's in it for the Black people?
Bye, everyone. And it's gone too far.
We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Muwakil's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Trigger with instructor Mike on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Why? Why? Because someone told a great guy no.
No! God, please, no! No!
And he told that no, and he said, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and turn that no into next opportunity. That's the latest book I just released, what I tell myself about no, because children who do not understand the power of rejection and the propulsion that occurs inside it becomes adults who can't take rejection, and your next opportunity could be right around the corner if you just understand how to use that no. And that's why we exist at What's in It for the Black People Media Network, because someone took a no and said, I'm going to create next opportunity. You're not silencing the voice, because that's what's in it for the black people, is the truth. Not always that you want to hear, is the shit that needs to be said, because our ancestors fought and died to give us the right of access, and who the fuck are you to tell me no?
Only on What's in It for the Black People Media Network.
Hey, Dawn. If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like me said.
Okay.
He said a Juke-a-thon day.
Man, we're about 60 years alive. You done had a heart attack.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't. You don't like that? Yeah. I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right. Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
About National Join a Positive Black Organization Day, because I don't want to be recruiting. I don't want to be recruiting and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard. You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
You hear that?
And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men. Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards.
Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you gonna do.
I'm ready. I said I'm ready. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn on What's in It for the Black People Media. It's learning in real time on the fly. But I got this.
And right, something. But the thing is, too, you can't beat yourself up in this, in the whole broadcasting and everything. Sometimes, if you just don't know something, you can't say is wrong because we're just learning something new. So we both just learned this. Yeah.
Welcome back. It's Who's That Girl? Woman Crush Wednesday. And I know y'all see that pretty brown face on this screen. That's my friend. Hi, Deborah. Olivia Farmer is the president of Brown Farmer Media Group, which is do what? Oh, Deb, turn your volume up, they said. She's a full Brown Farmer Media Group is a full-service Chicago-based communications firm established in 2014. Deborah provides strategic marketing and media advice and counsel to a select clientele of brands from news outlets to business, black businesses. She was born into a family that stressed loyalty to community and kinship, church and country. She actually is a prayer warrior who I have had the honor of literally being in the spirit and in prayer with on many occasions and have had some life-altering moments in that prayer. Deborah is joining us today because it is national. First of all, because she is that girl. But it's National Adoption Month. We talked about that on Monday. Yes. That November is National Adoption Month, and Deborah is a new mom.
Yay!
And we would like for her, outside of telling us some of the things she does working, to talk about her journey with Joshua and how to be an advocate for those who maybe can't bear children, would like to adopt a child. Because there is a baby somewhere that needs somebody to love them. Welcome to the Book of Dawn, Deborah. Thank you for joining us. Can you? That's the mute. Yeah, Deborah, can you hear us? Are you on mute, Deb? If you're check and see if you're.
How about
mute.
that? Is that better?
There we go.
All right. Woo-hoo. There we are. Technology. Let's talk about it.
Yes, Deborah, tell us. Welcome to the Book of Dawn. I think we should start with. Let's start with your journey to Joshua. Let's start with that.
Sure. So first off, thank you so very much for having me. I'm super excited. I honestly thought I was on mute. I have a 5-year-old running around here. Just had a virtual school break, and now having this opportunity to speak to you about my journey to Joshua. It initially started, as I think about it, I used to mentor with an organization called UCAN, which is ULIC Children's Advantage Network. And when I worked at WGN Television in the early 90s, I had a lot of free time. And as you read in my bio, community service is at my core who I am. And so I would volunteer, I would mentor, and I fell in love with this sweet young lady named Sharina Green. And I mentored her, tutored her, and at one point I thought of adopting her because she had been bouncing around from foster home to foster home. And so, of course, my family, encouraged me not to, because I was just in my 20s, I was single and didn't think that I had capacity to manage a child with such a troubled background. So I always had adoption at the forefront of my mind. So again, we look here now in the year 2020, 5 years into being an adopted mom of Joshua. It was really a path that I was destined to be on. I adopted Joshua through the foster care system. And that's one of the points that I want to bring home, because oftentimes when people think about adoption, they think about either, an open adoption, or they think about going through organizations such as the Cradle, which are fine. But there are so many children living in the foster care system. And so that was the route that I chose to go. And we have a lovely boy, Joshua, because of it.
And now, Deborah, did you foster him first and then adopt him from there, or was it just an outright adoption from the foster care system?
No, it was a foster process. So he was a sibling. He had 2 other siblings that were full siblings that were in the foster care system that were in the process of being adopted. He had 2 other half siblings that were under guardianship with their paternal grandparents. So when his bio mom actually gave birth, they knew that he was not going to be going home with her. They knew that they were going to put him immediately into foster care. So I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to actually get him at birth. So that is a rarity, right? Most cases, foster children have been in a foster home prior to going through the process of being adopted. So I had to go to court for Joshua for over a year. Because his paternal father was making an effort to get Joshua. So he was actually in the foster care system first.
Okay, gotcha. Now, is that expensive? Is that process expensive?
No, it's actually not. It's actually free, right? And so that is one reason why, I am actually talking about this and sharing this information, because there's a lack of awareness when it comes to adopting, especially through foster care. So with the foster care system, the point of foster care is to reunite the child with the biological family. But in a lot of cases, they are not to go back to that biological setting because it may not be the most, appropriate or conducive environment for a healthy, upbringing. So that is ultimately the process of fostering. We are to sort of serve as a midway point to get the family back in a position where they can then take the child back into the home. So it was where they provide you a stipend for helping, so taking care of whatever needs the child has. In a lot of cases, foster parents get WIC, they get some sort of, medical assistance for the child. So that was initially how we had Joshua, was through fostering. And then, of course, we knew we wanted to adopt him, and then his biological dad's rights were terminated. So then we went through the adoption process.
Okay. Now, Deb, when you said the biological dad's rights were terminated, would you advocate or promote somebody? You have him in a safe home now, Joshua.
Yes.
But what are your thoughts about a healthy biological parent that wants to interact? Is that confusing for an adopted child or not?
Yeah, it really depends on the relationship, right? You have had a lot of situations where, whether it be an outright adoption where it's open, where the child knows that they're adopted, they have their biological parents still very much involved. So again, if the biological parents are in a healthy state, or if they are in a position where it will not cause any damage to the child, I'm all for it. But if they are not, I do not encourage that at all.
Okay. And I was going to ask too, something along with what Dawn said, but what about the siblings? Like, do you encourage them with the other families, or is it just kind of the families have to decide together if the siblings are going to meet up or keep in touch, or how does that go?
That's a great question. It's a case-by-case scenario, so with Joshua, when he was actually going through foster care, we still kept in contact with his full siblings. And ironically enough, as small as, the world is, as we know, it's like not even 6 degrees of separation. It's one. The foster parents of his 2 full siblings happened to be a young lady who went to high school with my brother. So it was so weird. So we still kept in touch. We went to birthday parties. We kept them engaged as much as we could. We've sort of, gotten out of step with that. But when we initially both were going through the process, we made sure to keep the siblings together.
Yeah, that's important. I definitely. So Deb, tell us some myths, because adoption has changed so much over the years. Tell us some of the myths that make people weary or leery about the process.
Well, I think the one, and it's not even a myth, it's just a lack of awareness. And that is the whole point of this. I want to put us, especially people of color, in a position to be aware and educated. I had so many situations as we went through the process where people were like, what? Even your initial question to the end of how much did it cost? Mm-hmm. That might be a misconception. There is no actual cost if you are fostering a child and then you adopt them. In fact, they provide you a financial stipend to support. Once again, as I look at outright adoption, there may be a myth that the biological parents and the, adoptive parents may not be in contact with each other. That might be a myth. So it's really just about providing information. One of the things that, again, for me, that I want to drive home is that the myth is for most people that they can't do it. I've had so many people to say, oh my goodness, that's so awesome. You adopted. I've always wanted to do that, but I don't think I can afford to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? So you also get, oh, you know what? I'm not in a position. I only have a 1-bedroom. They come up with all these excuses. And I just want people to put away the excuses and do it for love. Right? Sure. Put the fear to the side. I think that we are so egotistical, even in the sense of what type of child would I get? Even if you biologically had a child, you don't know how that child's going to come out. Sure. And so for you to be arrogant enough to say, oh, I don't want this child because I don't know how they're going to come out, or that, you don't have that right. Just do it out of love.
Yeah, lead with love is an important.
Exactly.
Leading with love is a game changer in life, with or without a child, but definitely in the rearing of taking in responsibility of
yes.
a young life. Deb, you are, from my understanding, and I don't know if I can say this publicly, but are you writing a book about this journey?
I am. Yeah, thank you for that question. So yes, that is again another reason for this conversation. And I can't thank you enough, especially in National Adoption Month, to actually have this conversation. Yes, the book is called My Journey to Joshua. It's coming out at the top part of the next year. And it's to provide information, resources, right? There are so many foster care agencies that are looking for foster parents. Maybe you don't want to outright adopt. Maybe you're a single person, male or female, and you have capacity to take on fostering a child. And so that's what the book will be providing, is information, resources, and then really just telling the journey that I took to get to Joshua, right? You can look at I think the premise that I want people to walk away with is love. There's no fear in love. When you look at relationships, whether they or not, at the core and the base of it all is love.
Sure. That's good stuff. Deb, do you have time to stay with us?
I do.
We're going to take a break. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. Who's that girl on the screen? That's Deborah Farmer. We are talking about Journey to Leading with Love with Joshua. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Hey y'all, this is Salim Muwakil from Muwakil's World. In case you missed the last discussion, this is what you missed.
There was a time when there was a large-scale mythology that African people had no endurance. We were only good for sprinting.
Right.
And that was our forte. Other than that, we were useless in marathon races. Establishing your patrimony on the land. If you bury the dead, that means that this land is forever in your family.
Who are our ancestors, really? We are the living ancestors to a whole genealogical line going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years that we carry within us living today. Everyone who preceded us. Mm-hmm. However, that conception took place, whether it was violently, with rape, or whatever the case, but we are them living today.
That's why it's important to understand our capacity, man. Our capacity is unlimited. We have unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIFTBP.
Live from your media studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. Book of Dawn with Dawn Millhouse.
Welcome back. You are tuned into the Book of Dawn. What's in it for the Black People Media? Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Yes.
Wednesdays, we take the time to highlight somebody that I think are living superheroes in real time. Like, who's that girl? But I know that we're all of the age to remember the song and, who's that girl? So I try to make it sound sexy at 40 plus. Deb, I just wanted to, I don't think that I had a chance to say that I know your commitment to community, and you and I actually met serving on a board and started our friendship, and that was with YMCA. At the time, it was the Black and Latino Achievers.
Yes.
And so the heart, when you talk about leading with love, I think that is where your truest heart is and always has been. Even when you were at NBC, for those of you who don't know, Deborah spent a considerable amount of her career in broadcast. And so, Deb, you're going to have to send me some notes that if
you're doing a
shrug my shoulders, or if I got to lean with it.
And I remember you did, Deborah did the first NBC, you did the first ever Women's History Month. It was like a clothing drive. I remember Claire's House and a bunch of other things. Because I'm trying to remember when I don't know if it was GN or you were NBC, but I've known you forever too.
Yeah, no, I met you at GN, Lisa.
Yeah.
I met you at GN. And just so you know, to answer your question, Don, you're doing a bang-up job. I'm super proud of you both.
Thank you. Deb, tell us about your transition from broadcast and media to now.
Sure. It's funny. My grandmother lived to 96 years old, and one of the things that she would oftentimes say is everything's in divine order. And even in, and she was fairly healthy. She walked up until she was like 95, around Pullman Park, right? The point is everything's in divine order. So I spent a good amount of time right out of college at WGN. That's where I first met Lisa, working there as a segment producer for the morning show. Went over to NBC5, where I led the community affairs department for Channel 5, sort of the face of the station, if you will. And after 8 years there, I became very uncomfortable with new management, and I just jumped. I just took a leap and I left, and that's when I started Brown Pharma Media Group. Now, what's very interesting is while there, I was actually in the process going through fertility treatments while I was at NBC5, and we were, at the time trying to conceive naturally, but I had already had my foster care license, right? So I, even prior to getting married, I had my foster care license. This was always something I was to do. So even after leaving NBC, if I were not working for myself, to be quite honest, I wouldn't have had capacity to deal with all the court hearings I had to go through for Joshua to get the child that I now have, right? So nothing's wasted, right? Mm-hmm. So my journey, as I look at, working in television and now starting my own business, if I were not working for myself and didn't have the freedom to do what I am now doing, which is mothering a beautiful boy named Joshua.
So precious. Was that his name when you adopted him, or did you change his name?
That's an awesome question. Absolutely. So his bio mother named him Daniel. Okay. So we honored that and we kept Daniel. His name is Joshua Daniel, and both very strong, very biblical names. The whole point of Joshua is just my belief that, he's to get me to my promised land. Yeah. And now I believe I'm in my promised land.
Yeah, I just got chills. You should start, that should be in the foreword of the book.
Yes.
That's Deborah, are you going to branch out into merchandising a little bit?
Absolutely. Another wonderful question. Yes, as you can see, I'm wearing my merch, as the young people call it here, my journey to Joshua.
Yeah, that's a millennial term. Yeah.
That's what we call it, copping that merch, as my godson would say. So we have on our website, you can order the book once it's released. You'll find the product line there as well, some t-shirts, some swag, hoodies.
That is the picture I saw of you, the cover, right? Of you and him.
Yes.
I was hoping you'd merchandise that.
Yeah. And it's so funny because when I actually put my sweatshirt on for today, I just put him on a t-shirt and he's like, wait a minute, where's my sweatshirt? So he wanted to wear his as well.
Deborah, go get him.
I was going to say he was,
go get him.
I'll get him when this interview was wrapping up because he will take over. I'm just telling you.
Okay, that's okay.
Hey, well, he's his mama's son.
He is,
right. And then I'll bring him in when we get to the close because he is very much a charismatic kid.
I love it. When is his birthday?
He just had a birthday, just turned 5 on October 24th.
Oh, love it. Happy birthday, young king. Deb, now tell me when you are, so let's change hats here to your other job, and which you do well, with public relations and client management. How do you go about deciding if you're going to work with that client? Because I know you have a strong spiritual foundation. How is that important when you choose the clients that you decide to work with?
It is very important. I think at the base of everything that I do. Okay, Joshua has arrived. He's here. Sorry.
Hey, baby boy.
Hey. Say, hey, what's happening? So at the base of everything that I do, it's all about the give back, right? So I align myself with clients that are passionate about serving the community. So before I even entertain a client, I'm making certain that there's some sort of community benefit.
Okay.
So some of the clients that we work with, we were responsible for managing the efforts of recruiting minorities to the Chicago Police Department, which was a huge undertaking. But that was probably my biggest passion project. And interestingly enough, when I worked at WGN, I used to get phone calls from brothers that were abused by Burge, and to have 20 years later to be in a position to actually change the face of the Chicago Police Department, which I think we successfully did. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But being in that position, it just stopped, Josh. It puts me in line with making certain that clients are giving back to the community.
I like that. And you sit on the board for Good City, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I took classes at Good City when Wilbur and I started Millhouse Charities. And so I think that programming, first of all, it's based in the Word. But I think that programming is a really great process for people who have the heart for community, but really don't know how to put the nonprofit together. Can you share a little bit about your work with Good City?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was an opportunity to work with organizations, especially benefited me because I was a new entrepreneur, right? So being in a position to sort of be the godfather of nonprofit organizations, that's what that organization provided, was that service of helping nonprofits and helping startup businesses to basically get the successful funding that they needed, also help them with getting the support that they needed with when it related to board development and things of that sort. So so it was a very short term on the board because there's a change in leadership. And so but Jimmy Lee at the time was the executive director, and he was just such an amazing guy to work with. Very dear friend of mine.
I definitely learned I literally took that prior to
You want to go back to your room? Go back. I'll come
to
back.
learning how to put our charity together. So it is a really good, if you're interested, just plug for Good City. If you're interested in starting a nonprofit or just want to know the levels, because there's levels to nonprofit.
It is.
And a lot of legal stuff that you need to know. Good City is a great program. So Deb, tell us how, if we're interested or even just want to get information about adopting, what's the process?
Well, it's funny because, again, there's so many agencies, and I'm going to be an advocate for fostering to adopt, although it could be quite risky because there's no guarantee that you'll get the child to stay with you permanently. But I would recommend One Hope United is the organization that I went through. There's also ChildLink. You have UCAN, which is ULIC Children's Advantage Network. Okay. And then if you decided to do like an outright adoption, you can go with the Cradle. You'll find a lot of this information and these resources on our website at My Journey to Joshua.
Okay. Is it spelled out, My Journey to Joshua?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be sending out a newsletter and also a blog, just providing information. I'm actually helping.
Hey, Joshua, ask me a question.
Why don't you ask TT Dawn a question right now?
Last time I am going to do like watch Superhero Kids in my room.
Okay, great. Thank you. You're going to go watch Superhero Kids in your room?
Go watch superheroes.
Yay. I'll come in there in a minute, okay?
We were playing peekaboo before.
Yeah, so with the website will provide the resources and information. I'm actually helping a young lady right now through the process. When I initially put on social media that I had a book coming out, I had so many people to inbox me like, oh my God, can you help me through the process? So that's one of the things that we're doing too, is actually just providing, hands-on support. I linked this young lady with One Hope United, and she's about to get her foster license and soon to be placed with a child.
I love that. There's no, like you said, leading with love. There's no more appropriate time to make a difference in somebody's life.
And it benefits you too.
I don't know that people understand the joy of mothering. It's an experience that has no price tag.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's quite. But I have to ask you now, because I see him and I remember, I didn't give birth to a son. I have a bonus son. But how do you balance Joshua and business and writing a book and advocating for foster to adoption in a pandemic?
Yeah. And how about I moved to another city in a pandemic? I'm in Atlanta now. And so when I talk to people, they're like, wait a minute. Not only did you leave, you left during a pandemic, right? And so I just really give honor to God and all of that, because he provided me the strength I needed. And then I think it's just really my upbringing with my family. My grandmother came to Chicago in 1963 in an El Dorado, right? So it's the grit that came from Granny.
I'm flying.
And so, yeah. So I balance it by making sure that I'm on mute first and foremost. That is what I try to do. And then just, really showing myself some grace, right? Yeah. Because it is a lot. I mean, I didn't expect to come to a new city and then have to, work with him virtually. So I just take breaks. I do a lot of meditating, a lot of deep breaths. Mm-hmm. And every now and again, I have some cheese pizza. That's my vice.
I thought you was gonna say you said and I went to champagne because
no, cheese
you know me.
I'm sad that it's not Arnello's, but it's good.
But Deb, I think it's important. As a mother of grown-ups, I think I appreciate your ability to give yourself grace because we are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah. Yep.
Whether we're parents or not, but even more so when you're a parent because there really is no rule book other than what you take good from your own upbringing. And so it's challenging to go out on purpose, to take on the challenge of raising not just a child, a black man in a world that is not really designed to promote black men is extremely courageous and very challenging, but it's also very inspiring for people who don't have children or want more children because they're retired now or just have the ability, have the money, the ability, or just the heart to serve somebody other than themselves. I think it's a wonderful story and absolutely should be shared.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I just want people to get to that place where they can just remove the fear. Because oftentimes, beyond the miseducation, most people that I talk to, they just were leading with fear, not with love. They had all types of excuses, more excuses than somebody going to jail.
Yeah.
And just put away the excuses and just do it.
Big time. Well, Deborah, I want to say thank you. I definitely appreciate your candor, your honesty, and always your transparency. And I think that's how we clicked because we were we were minorities in a space with Fran Bell that needed people that could speak up and make.
Yeah, but you were my Jada Pinkett Smith, and your husband was Will Smith. Remember, I said that when I introduced you guys.
You did, and I still have the trophies.
Oh, that's hilarious! I love it.
I'll send you a picture. I'll take a picture of it when I go home.
We bonded too. I mean, just the whole woman, like just women in media, and what you've done, just from the women's aspect. So you're just like all around. Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Joshua. We love you too, superhero.
Say thank you, TT Dawn.
Thank you, TT Dawn.
Oh, can I have that for a soundbite? He sounds like you, Ron. Joshua, you need to tell your mother to put that on a drop and you send me that because I want that as a promo.
And TT Sasa loves you too.
Deb, thank you so much. Hey, listen, y'all, I put her website in the thread. Please make sure that you contact her if you have questions. Deb is a servant. She is a service before self child of God, and will open her time and heart when the superhero's not in the camera to give you advice, to pray with you, baby. If you need a word, look, this prayer warrior, a lot of tears on that floor, but all worth it. Thank you, Deborah. I'm gonna be calling you again. I appreciate you, and I wish you nothing but the best. And when we get to Atlanta, I'll make sure I call you and we can have pizza and champagne together.
Yes, I love you both. Thank you so very much for this opportunity.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye, Josh.
Bye. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. The Book of Dawn. Who's that girl? Deborah Farmer. We'll be back.
WIFTBPM.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays, starting November 5th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Muwak Hill's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1. Right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIFTVP.
Live from your media studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. Book of with Dawn Millhouse.
Oh.
Hey,
y'all. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn. I feel like I ran for office. I'm tired like I was on the campaign trail. What the?
Well, that's because you put in a lot of hours too. You did like, because you know, it's like, and when you work with Dawn, because you have your visions, like when you clean and when you do stuff. So I just kind of stand back and just stay on the sidelines. Dawn will be like, "Here, Lisa, hand me this chair," because I know that you have your vision. So I just kind of step back when you do stuff.
And I forgot to ask both them girls my quiz, so I'm gonna have to put that online because both them. Oh yeah. I'm a Facebook. I'm gonna Facebook them and do it online.
And I thought you did on purpose because of she couldn't answer. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody worked hard. You know, everybody here at for the Mays Jackson platform was in for the Black people. I mean, everybody just worked really hard between elections and just seeing everybody doing their part. And we're all tired
together. Yeah. Listen, they got to be so super tired. I fell asleep on them, and they were still working. Yeah, crazy. Shouts out to Sonia Escobar. 3 a.m. till 3 a.m. Man. And then back at 4 a.m. I'm like, wow, we probably need to put a bathroom and a shower in here. You know, Mace can build studios in 2 weeks and sound rooms. We probably need to get a bathroom in this joint, shower for nights like this. Anyway.
Or you just bring your stuff. You go in the bath and we have couch. Oh boy, those are other stories too. We don't want to go into those.
Sandy Robinson is gonna hang out with us for a little bit tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Sandy
awesome.
Robinson, super boss lady. She's a Woman Crush Wednesday, but she's not available on Wednesdays, so she has to come on Thursdays.
That's okay.
So we're going to extend it. It's going to be Wood Thursday.
Right.
I just made that up. Wood Thursday.
We can do Throwback Thursday to go back to Wednesday.
Booyah.
See?
That's why she's a super producer.
See, that's what you got to do.
Listen, I don't want to talk a lot about the election, but I wanted to touch back on the first-time voters. It blows my mind that Jennifer Aniston, Kanye, Snoop Dogg, Selena Gomez, Shaquille O'Neal, Mike Tyson, Colin Kaepernick, and Cecile Richards, who used to be the former president of Planned Parenthood, are first-time voters. I just don't understand.
And I think some people I think it's not that they don't care. I think some people feel that their votes just don't matter. And I mean, and one thing I guess, like with me, that electoral stuff, I hate it.
I know, but if you think, I mean, okay, is that an oxymoron? If you think your vote doesn't matter, but you don't vote, do you realize that you voted for somebody?
Right, exactly. And I agree with that. I guess with me, it's like they're looking at the points from each state. I guess in my mind, maybe my mom was a kindergarten teacher for 30 years. I think like a kindergartner, but if we're all supposed to be equal U.S. citizens, and we'll use a number, 1 million. 1 million people voted. Count 1 million ballot. Count the 1 million people, and whoever gets the most wins.
Oh, I totally don't agree with the electoral process.
Because especially if you're 18, 19, 20, you still live with your parents. You were born in whatever state you were born in. Like, why should you be? I don't know.
I had this conversation with Mr. Millhouse the other day. I said, as technologically advanced as our country is, or alleged to be, why can't we can pay bills off our phone online. We can do everything online. How come we can't vote from our own house? Why can't you create a login like you do for when you check your bank account?
Or an app or something.
That's what, I don't know. Why are we, it's 2020.
Maybe, I don't know, because I guess.
Well, there's like, even when I did the Double Good fundraiser, when I did the app on my phone, in order for me to get to the payment part, I had to like clear in the airport, I had to do the face recognition. You can make somebody scan like their driver's license and know that it's legitimate, or do a face recognition.
Yeah, I was going to say like a face thing or
a
something.
Thumbprint. it doesn't make sense to me that the ability to vote from a computer is not available.
That would be dope too, because for like you said, all them first time voters, they would have the information about the candidates and stuff right there.
Exactly.
On the app or whatever they're using.
Exactly. And I mean, and then you don't have to worry about long lines, and it goes right into a system that is keeping count. Why? It's 2020.
Right. I don't know. And I mean, I guess, well, then you might have bad people too that hold you up and put a gun to your head and say, vote like this. But that's a little
But they
extreme.
would have, because they'd have to be in your house.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to deal with the lines. You don't have to deal with, like now in a pandemic, you don't have to be worried or fearful that you're going to contract.
Or if a printer doesn't work. Because with ours, you had the same voting that I did. Ours, where I voted, it was 8 different booths, but it was all the same. You had to just like touch it with, I think it was your finger, however you touch it with, whatever they gave you to touch it, and then you hit print, and it prints out on your computer.
Yeah, because even on the way in, there was a story about Philly or somewhere in Pennsylvania, it's called skinny ballot or something, where they didn't have the protective sleeves, and so they're trying to throw all those out. Just if we could do it from our computer or our phone, then it's already in, and you from the comfort of your own. And then you don't have to worry about kids like me and Mr. Millhouse, kids in college that have to do the absentee process months in advance, and you have to make sure you keep up. I mean, if you can do the absentee process online, you should vote online. Mm-hmm. And then the seniors, right? The seniors that don't want to come out their house. My mother's in her 80s. My father's almost 90. They can do it from their phones. Sick people that are in hospitals. It's just easy.
And what about the people right now that mailed in their ballots that I know, like my sister did, she mailed it in. So she said you get like a receipt or however they say they got it. But what about people that still didn't get it and it got lost in the mail?
Well, because there was a story on yesterday about all these mail-in ballots, but they received them. There was a post office that received them, but they can't prove that they were forwarded.
Right.
It's just stupid. And if somebody's a techie geek, somebody make an app for that. Get rich on me and throw me a buck. You heard it here, so you can copyright it if you want to. I'm just saying, but if you're smart and you're an app kid and you got the wherewithal, I think that would be incredible. Maybe I should have told little Joshua Daniel to do that.
Yeah.
Little superhero.
Your husband could do that. He's a techno person.
Our son-in-law for sure could. He's the IT guy.
And then we just got dibs or was it Cobbs?
Lisa lost her card because she didn't know what dibs or Cobbs were.
No. In all fairness, camera 3, get a shot. In all fairness, when you were doing it the other day, I thought she said, is it dub or Cobb? And I was like, wait, I'm pretty good with street stuff. I'm like, I thought dub was like $20, right? It is,
was
right?
So cute.
And I thought, and so off the air, and so I'm asking people, I asked my artist, I said, Sean, what's a dub and a Cobb? I said, maybe it's something I don't know. He goes, dub and a Cobb. He goes, well, I know dub is $20. I never heard of it against a Cobb. And then Dawn's like, Lisa, I said dibs or Cobb. I got dibs, but I never heard the Cobb part. So, but I do I got dibs, yeah.
Okay, other word of the day. Quasitum. Quasitum. Spelled Quaesitum. That which is sought, the answer to a problem.
Wait, say that. I'm thinking.
So, in a sentence,
Okay.
I would say no matter how difficult it is to begin a platform such as this, What's in it for the Black People Media, Maze Jackson and Sonia Escobar and Tennille Jackson always find the quasitum.
Ah.
That's your other word of the day.
Words that begin with the letter Q-U, Alex.
Right. Here's my quote for the day. Don't judge people based on color, race, religion, sexuality, or gender. Base them on whether they're an asshole or not.
Ooh, gosh, we need to post that up at the, make a blimp or
I don't care what
something
you are. Just don't be an asshole. Don't be that guy or girl. Saying just a little information from Teflon. That's and asshole, is asshole a curse word? I don't think it is. Asshole is not a curse word, right? Because it's a thing.
What?
Technically, it's not.
Technically, well, and if you add orange hair, what does that make it? Oh,
an orange-haired asshole, not a peach, and a former president. Listen,
blue.
thank you for spending time with us today. Thank you for dealing with my my learned behavior of how to mute the thing in real time. Watch the show. It was good information today. That was a great chat with Lisa about real estate.
She was great.
Stuff I never knew. And make certain that you use your voice and your actions to be and make an impact in somebody else's life, not just your own. Because, if you use your voice and actions to make an impact in somebody else's life, you are impacting your own life.
And just picture little Josh's face and just know that, all it is love.
Oh, this girl. Kelly Fair. Every girl is a CEO. I'm a board member at Polished Pebbles Foundation. She's also, her organization is a partner of an organization for Millhouse Charities. It's going to be on Kelly Clarkson today at 2:00.
Awesome.
And you see that? Kelly Clarkson. Every Girl's a CEO by Kelly Fair, Polished Pebbles. Check her out at 2:00 on the Kelly Clarkson Show. And she will be sitting in. She's taking over. She's turning the studio pink next week when I go on anniversary.
Well, Esco's got her Frenchie hair pink.
Oh,
and we
yeah,
got
and I
pink
have
ladies.
Yeah, that part.
I got my pink high tops.
I can't. Don't wear your pink high tops. Tune in tomorrow for the next page in the Book of Dawn with Sandy Robinson, me, Dawn Millhouse, Lisa E., Ron Rilla, and/or Esco, and peace and roll tide.